Hello and welcome. You're watching To The Point. For 3 days, we've been subjected to deeply disturbing scenes from Haryana as Rampal and his supporters battled with the police whilst the godman tried desperately to evade arrest. But Rampal is not the first godman to defy the law and believe he's above it. Rahul Easwar, I want to quote to you from Meera Nanda, who also happens to be a guest on our show tonight. I'm quoting from her book, The God Market. She writes, "Behind every successful godman in India today stands a cluster of powerful politicos with free access to public assets and the machinery of the state."
I would definitely concede that there are many black sheeps among Babas. But having said that, we shouldn't paint everyone with the same brush. We should remember even the great Indian freedom struggle was started by a sannyasi rebellion where fakirs and sons came together to fight. Swami Vivekananda was a spiritual guru, so was Gandhiji, who blended spirituality with politics. Having said that, in the present times, yes, we accept that there are some problems. There are many people who use social political influences in the garb of spirituality. Maybe they are only 1%, but they are bringing bad name the whole faith or the whole arena of spirituality. A minuscule percentage is there because India is a spiritual nation. We have spiritual gurus all around. Many are doing great work, including the Naxal, Maoist areas, in the poor areas, the tribal areas. We shouldn't see them in the shadow of the bad people, and we should not paint everybody with the same brush. And if I can use one line, even thousands of years back, Ravana kidnapped Sita, masking himself as a saint. So even bad babas or godmen in the wrong dress was always there. So it is about identifying who is right, who is a good man, and who is a bad man.
Meera Nanda, let me put an example of that to you, Rahul Easwar. For instance, today's Indian Express reports that Rampal's devotees would treat as prasad kheer made out of the milk he had bathed in. You and I would probably have a heart attack if we were asked to eat that kheer. They treated it prasad. More importantly, they believed that that kheer worked miracles. Is there not something in that attitude that automatically assumes that whatever Rampal does is miraculous, Rampal is God?
And let me concede very openly that the majority community's faith in India is not at all codified, institutionalized, and there are no systems and structures. We don't even have enough checks and balances. This is an open point. When all our meetings or all our gatherings happen, we do consider and we discuss these points. Anybody who can buy a saffron garb or a white garb with 100 rupees can proclaim himself to be a Baba, a son. Rampal, many people say, was claiming to be the reincarnation of Kabir. So this is an issue we have. This is an honest issue we have. This is a space where true spiritualists or rational spiritualists will join hands with media in exposing and creating a filter where we can weed out these negative elements. We can create a sort of filter, a check and balance where we can legitimately understand who is a real spiritual guy or who is a person who can inspire philosophy in you and who is a charlatan. And the number of charlatans are increasing, and that is a point with great pain. I would like to say, of course, we understand as people who is in this area, we understand there are a lot of people who are misguiding, who are utilizing the gullibility of uneducated youth for these things. So that's a very realistic problem, and we have to seriously brainstorm on solutions along with the government, court, judiciary, and media should brainstorm on these.
You know, there's a very interesting point Rahul Easwar is raising. He's trying to explain why it is that we as people fall under the influence of charlatans so easily and so quickly.
But the only humble point I would like to differ with all the media analysis that's happening. Whenever such a thing happens, many people, not this program, but many have a tendency to paint everybody with the same brush. We don't have a word called Godman in India. We only have words like Guru. We only have words like Babas and Sons. Godman is an alien word to us. Godman is a conman. That's a Western import itself. We don't believe in Godman. There are some great gurus, but there are some bad gurus too. So our soul of the debate should lie in how to analysis when they are raising a power structure, when they are raising economics. We should bring about a solution, a government monitoring of the whole situation. Else, there is every tendency of them to degenerate. That's the reason why we have always suggested that there should be RTI applicable to ashrams, spiritual gurus, mosque or masjid. Right to information should be applied so that we will be able to monitor their activities and there will be more transparency.
It's a lovely thought. It's a lovely thought. Monitor the activities of your godmen. Have a RTI to ensure that godmen aren't misleading you when they make promises and claim that they've done miracles.
See, normal education is not what we need in this particular case. We need a kind of rational spiritual education. I know it sounds easy, but it is easier said than I agree with that. We need a kind of rational spiritual or philosophical outlook. Remember one golden point, and atheism can never defeat superstition. Only rational spiritualism can defeat superstition. We, like Vivekananda said, the opposite of spirituality is not materialism or atheism. The opposite of spirituality is superstition.
But we
need such rational spiritual leaders. However tough it may be, that's the only way ahead. Because a very sensitive area, grey area, culture can be invoked, belief can be invoked, faith can be invoked. So it's a very tough area. And I strongly believe we need an anti-superstition law. Even though it cannot be invoked, if we have such a new law, it will always create a fear in the minds of charlatans. Whether if we are crossing the Lakshmana Rekha and crossing the limit, we will always be caught.
Right.
So it's a very tough area, and we should be having a clinical precision on this.
Very interesting that on that question of the need for an anti-superstition law, you agree completely with Meera Nanda, but you're saying that the real solution is what you call rational spiritual leadership.